Hi folks, Teilhard Frost here. We're going to make some bones today. Rattle bones from wood. I'm out in the Lilacs outside my house. I live next to a church and a cemetery, and there's the old lore that if you plant lilacs around a cemetery, the spirits can't penetrate, they can't get out. So they're safe in there and we're safe out here was the old idea. So consequently around cemeteries you'll find plenty of lilacs. So lilac's a great wood. It's hard. It has a nice purple tinge. The heartwood's often a nice purpley color. But it's end of February here up on Wolfe Island in Ontario, Canada. And the sap's not running, so that's good. And we're just going to trim up a piece here. Now we're going to take a little bit here. There's a laneway here that goes through. And there's an overhanging branch. So I found the piece that I need. We need a piece about... 6 inches long, and it'll be about 6 inches long and about 1.5 inch and a quarter thick. So we're going to take this guy here, overhanging the trail, and I was going to use secateurs, which are these things here. These are secateurs. They're trimmers, but I think it's a bit thick, so I'm going to use a saw. I'll use a bow saw. So this branch here is sticking out over the pathway where we come in and out, so I figured I'd just trim that back a little bit. Might as well do some housekeeping while we're at it, and also for the tree, you know, you have to keep in mind when you trim these trees, it's always good to ask the tree first which is a good one to take, which limb, and then offer up a little thank you, and then take the little bait that you need. We're going to make one set today. So I'm going to take this piece right here. I think you can see that.
This is a bow saw.
Here's what you want. You got your piece of lilac. We're going to cut it about here again, about 6 inches or so. And then this piece here actually is quite nice because it has a slight curve, which will sort of imitate the shape of a rib bone. Let's head into my shop now and make this set of bones. We'll make them from lilac today, and there are other ways to make the bones. Like this here is a femur of a beef, of a cow. There it is. It's quite huge. I mean, this is like Flintstone territory. So what I do is I take this bone, all covered in meat, and I put it in the soup pot and make soup. And boil them down, dry them out, and clean them up and finish them up, and then you have a set of bone. But today we'll do it from the lilac right here in my shop. Let's head on in. Here's my shop. Banjo necks hanging on the wall, ready to be finished. A couple of chairs over here. A rocker for those who like to rock. Got some tunes going. The wood stove is crackling. So is it really crackling? Oh yeah. I always think of my friend Rick when I stoke the fire, when I make the fire. And I do that every single day when it's cold, which is about 8 months of the year. So every day I think of my friend Rick and I make that wood stove. What we'll do now is we'll take this hatchet and this piece of lilac that we just cut. I'm going to split it down the center. This one's fairly straight, as you can see. So I'll just split that down the center and we'll go from there. Start it out here. Wow, that was very simply done. 2 pieces. Now, we have now what we need to do is shave these down so they're bone shaped. So we're going to take off the bark side till they're about 1/4 inch thick. I'm going to do it right now. I'll do this one with the hatchet. Just do a little Watch your fingers. So here we are, coming down to the end of this one, and I was just thinking about it. You can do it with your jackknife or your pocket knife, your buck knife, which is great, or I'll show you, you can also use the hatchet. What I realized also is that you should do the inside first. Do your flat, the split first, because that will help determine how thin you're going to go or how thick you're going to leave it. So just shave that down, make it nice and smooth, because the more the smoother it is, the better the sound's going to be. If you have all kinds of ridges in there, it's going to get in the way, and what you want is two flat, very smooth pieces like bone coming together to make a nice whack. So this one's pretty much done. And I'll move over to my shaving horse and I'll show you how I would do it if you happen to have a draw knife. This is a shaving horse. What it does, this is an extra piece because we're making the bones. What it is, it's just a bench. It's a workbench. And it has a foot treadle for this vise here. So it's a foot-powered vise. And what you do is you just put your work in here, clamp it down, use this as a draw knife. You just take that, draw it across like this, and you easily shave off what you want. Oh, the heartwood's coming out, a little bit fluffy. There we go. Here's the other one. And what you're left with is a nice pile of shavings as well. They smell good. I've just split the curvy piece here, and sometimes, you know, they don't always go. The first one we did was pretty perfect, actually, just right down the center. Sometimes if there's a slight knot, they'll go a bit wonky, and one will go off and be thinner. This is fine. This is just the right thickness. So what we're going to do now is take them and use the draw knife and shave them down. So I'll do the inside first, and because this is curved, this is going to be the side that's going to be hitting the other one, and this one, it'll be the bark side that's going to be the inside. So just keep that in mind. Put it in here. Just chuck this piece of 2x4 in here, or 2x8 to give me a bit more grab with my shaving horse. What we'll do now is we're going to carve the bark off. You don't have to take it all the way off. Like I was just saying, you can leave some on there, and I just like to round the edges off or chamfer them, cut them off, just break the edge so it's not so hard on your fingers. And I like to go towards myself. It gives me a lot more control with my blade. Some people don't like that. They think they're going to cut their finger off, but that can happen in either direction. In fact, if you're going this way, you can really choom right into your leg, whatever you're doing. So I use like this, carefully. Make sure your tools are sharp, and it'll be a lot easier on your everything. Dull tools, you can cut yourself a lot more quickly and easily using dull tools than sharp. Sounds funny, but with a sharp tool you can slip so much more, with a dull tool you can slip so much more easily. So that's about it. I'm going to leave the bark on this one. This one I haven't done anything, so I'll just quickly do that. Just breaking the edge. I'm going to leave the bark. And then when you oil them, well, it's noon. My clock owl is hooting at me. It's a screech owl. No, it's not a screech owl. Screech owls sound like a horse. Now you can sand the bones when you're finished if you like, but I'm not keen on that myself because a good blade, a good sharp blade, there's nothing that'll make it smoother than a sharp blade. And if you like, when you're finished, you can use any kind of oil to oil them up. I prefer, this is Swedish, yes, I'll give them a plug. It's really, really nice boiled linseed oil with no additives. There are no drying agents or anything. I just put a little bit on my rag and rub it on like this. Sorry, you can't see that. If you use linseed oil, especially, make sure you hang your rags out. Don't leave them in a crumpled heap or they can spontaneously combust. That means catch fire. They're very dangerous. So when you're using linseed oil, make sure you take care of your rags and hang them out on the clothesline or out on your balcony or wherever you can set them so they're not don't crumple them up. They need to be laid out nice and flat. You see, it's nice. Really brings out the color in the bark. And just wipe them clean. And plate. Okay, have fun with your bones. There you go.